Nick Brahms, AuburnSports.com.
How's it going?
How's it being transitioned from a player to a coach?
Yeah. It's good. It's going well. It's tough, especially like game days and stuff. But it's just a different perspective. Just helping those guys any way I can. And really just, being there for the team. Any questions they have, really just helping them prepare for every opponent each week. That's really my main goal.
You came back to make a run. How tough was it to say, hey, I can't do this?
Yeah, it was tough. Long nights. It took me probably a few weeks to come to that conclusion that I wasn't going to be able to go. Tried to go in fall camp and stuff, and just wasn't working. So it's tough. I got to talk to Coach Simmons first about it, and our analysts and stuff, and so he really helped me out, put it into perspective for me, and then really talked to the rest of the coaches the next day. So because we talked later that night after practice. So
what was it in those few weeks that sort of made you reach that conclusion?
Just really not being able to play effectively. It was really what it came down to. Just moving out of my stance and stuff, and really just in the athletic position, just not very effective. And like as an older player, you know like what it's supposed to look like, and it just wasn't at that for me. So I just had to make that decision.
Did you know pretty much from the beginning that you wanted to stick around with the team and be a part of this?
Yeah, absolutely. I came back for a 6th year. I didn't come back for no reason. And so really just to help out any way I can is what I'm going to do. So,
what's more pressure, playing under center during an SEC game or trying to land a plane?
Well, it depends on what the weather's like. If you're trying to land in a thunderstorm, that's pretty high pressure. Obviously, you don't want to try to get yourself in that situation, but especially if it's super windy that day. Hey, you always got that go around though, so you can always go around and try it again. So it's really not a one chance kind of thing. So, but yeah, they're pretty similar, I would say. That's what I always say in the interviews for Delta. Whenever I was doing that, there's a lot of correlation between flying and football, pressure wise and stuff. So.
What was Saturday like for you, the first time not being able to be out there?
It was tough. Like I said, game days are tough. Everybody wants to play on game day, right? And so as someone who did play and knowing that I could have been out there if it weren't for that injury and stuff, it was tough to swallow. But then, you kind of feel like that for a second or two, and then you really just think about how hard the guys in the room have worked, how hard this team's worked, and then really that perspective changes. Like, I'm here to help these guys. So.
Nick, how do you think Tate did?
I thought Tate did really well for his first start. Tate is going to be just fine. He's a hard worker. He takes a lot of pride in it, and I think he's going to be just fine.
You kind of got that older brother feel now, watching him.
Yeah, that's I don't know, maybe like a father son. That's my son, you know what I mean. So, but no, me and Tate have a good relationship. I love that guy. Really, ever since he got here, he's been a great kid and does everything right, and I think he's going to continue that forward. So.
You know how hard it is to play that position, but then how beneficial is having a game under his belt moving into game 2?
I think it's big for him. We were playing Mercer, right, and playing San Jose State, and then really the big one is Penn State, and so you got 2 games under your belt, before the big game, and obviously we're just focused on this week, but I think come next week he's going to be really confident going into that game.
Nick, what was the support like, I guess, from once it sort of became public, or whenever you decided it was time to share that with your teammates? What was their response to you when you decided to make the decision?
It was great. Those guys really, they understood because they know that I tried to push through it, and really that was my main goal, was to try to push through it in fall camp, see what I could do, and if it didn't work, then it didn't work. And everybody knows like that's a hard decision to make. And so those guys, you know, they really rallied around me and really helped me through a hard time. Yeah.
So what was Saturday like during the game? Like, what were you doing? How were you kind of helping the guys out?
Yeah, I would just help them out with any questions that they had. Like, they were doing some cross-pop stuff, and, you know, at center you kind of got to slow it down to collect the linebacker that's coming basically from this side whenever you're going to the right. That kind of thing, just slow it down. Just specific questions like that. And seeing what I see on the big screen and trying to relay that information to them. I was in charge of a little binder. You know, I was holding it on the sideline, all official. So, but, yeah, no, it was good.
We talked about Tate's first start. It was also Cam's first start, and you obviously played a lot next to him and
Yeah.
practice and stuff. How do you think he did and kind of him moving into that role as a starter?
Yeah, I think Cam did great. Both of those guys, Cam and KJ, are both good players. And they know what to do. And they're big guys, and they can move. You know what I mean? Cam is fast. He's probably one of the fastest guys on the O-line. I don't know if you guys ever seen him run in a straight line, but it's probably that change of direction where he's kind of slow. But, you know, straight yard, 40-yard dash. I mean, Cam Stutz is probably, next to Brendan Coffey, probably one of the fastest guys in the room. So he's got the talent. He's got the brains to do it, and so he'll be fun too.
Tate mentioned to us the other day that Trox actually hit a PR on him in week one.
Yeah.
Is that surprising?
No, it doesn't surprise me. Trox is a fast guy, man. I don't know if anyone noticed in here, but they took the knee braces off in the game, and so I think that might have had something to do with it. I don't know if, you know, we practice with knee braces on, but in the game they decided to make that an option for us, so or for them, and so yeah, I think without the knee braces, I mean, he can keep PRing probably every week.
Nick, what do you think the potential of this offensive line is this season?
I think the potential is through the roof. You know, we got a new star at center, obviously, and then really the guys have improved a lot since last year. Just working throughout spring and summer, I mean, it's hard not to improve just with how much we do in the off season and stuff. And so, I think every week you're going to see an improvement just because they're. I mean, they've seen a lot of looks, but like you just get better every season. Like before every game, you get better. So
Coming into fall camp, spring, Harsin and Keys have all kind of preached like we want to be a physical offense. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like this offensive line is doing that? If so, like how does it kind of exhibit?
Yeah, I think they're doing it, and there's always room for improvement with that aspect. I mean, that's probably the most important thing to be looking for in the O-line is physicality. Just really setting the tone for the rest of the offense. And so I think they're doing it, and I think they can improve on it too, like just with everybody else in the country.
Nick, what's your coaching style? You have to be like one of the nicest coaches out there.
Yeah, you know, depends on what it is. You know, guys aren't giving a lot of effort. You know, I try to get on them a little bit, but nah. Yeah, a little Coach G. Yeah, bring back to the old days. Nah, but yeah, nah. I'm there to kind of explain things and stuff. So.
Do they call you coach?
I think yeah. After the game, one of the Mercer players, I was shaking everybody's hands. He was like, "Good game, coach," and I was like, "Ah." I was like, "That's a little upsetting," but yeah, I was dressed as a coach, I guess, so that makes sense. But yeah.
Nick, when you started your career, NIL transfer portal didn't exist. Where have you seen, I guess, the benefits and maybe some of the downfalls of those things coming into fold?
The benefits, I think, outweigh the downfalls. Really, guys being able to, like for me, I've been able to build a little nest egg of money and really just kind of try to set myself up for the future and like investments and stuff, which I think that's a positive. Like financial literacy is big, especially for guys who make it to the NFL. You know, you want to start that probably as early as you can because, once you get to the NFL, if you're a first-round draft pick, you got millions of dollars, right? And so some guys don't know how to handle that. And so maybe if they get a little bit of money in college, you kind of, get a little bit experience with that. With the transfer portal, I go back and forth about this, but, like guys like Ben Patton, who worked his butt off here, got a chance, in the Iron Bowl to make a really clutch kick, a few kicks. And really, he got a chance to go home back in Michigan State. I think that's great. Like, I love Ben. He's still, he's one of my best friends. And that was the best situation for him. And so he got a chance to do that because of the transfer portal. It kind of, I don't know from a coach's perspective, just being like not knowing, I don't know the exact date, like sometime in February or whatever, but, before that date, you really don't know how your team's going to look, in the summertime and going in the fall. So it's kind of like a waiting game. Like, I don't know about the numbers and stuff, but I could see where that could be a downside to it.
And then one more thing for me. You guys at school announced a new initiative for the player jerseys coming out. What do you think about that? And who's the guys you think are going to sell the most?
Yeah, I think it's great. They came in here and talked to us as a team, and I think it's a great idea. Really, I think the jersey that I'm going to buy is probably Austin Troxel jersey, but selling the most, I hope Trox sells the most because that's my dog, you know what I mean? But I think probably, Tank, all those OP, all those guys, guys who have been here a while, had a lot of success. So, yeah, I think those guys will.
Nick, who does anyone reach out to you after your decision, guys that you had played with your guy, Caleb or Quell or anybody like that?
Yeah, all those guys did. And really it meant a lot to me because we went through some times together, just back in the day. And those guys, some guys are in real life right now working jobs, and some guys are still in the NFL, like Jack Driscoll and stuff. And so really just to hear those guys and hear them support me and be there for me means a lot.
Nick, speaking of real life, tell us what's ahead of you in aviation.
Yeah, so right now I'm a flight instructor at the Auburn airport. I've got 2 students right now just in the morning time on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'll have more students in the springtime just because I only chose 2 students because of football. Obviously, I was going to be playing.
So you have openings.
Yeah, I've got openings. If anyone in here wants to learn, I'll teach you. But then in the fall, in the springtime, I'll have a lot more students, and then I'm really working to get 1,250 hours, and then after that, I'll get hired on by a regional airline, and then I'll spend 3.5 years at a regional, and then I'll go to Delta after that. So you got that qualified job offer with Delta through the Propel program here. So
Does that likely keep you in Atlanta?
no, probably as a junior guy, you probably won't be in Atlanta, but maybe a few years after you get hired, hopefully. Yeah.
Easier to teach flying or easier to teach offensive line?
Oh, that's a good question. It's probably easier to teach flying. Because, I've seen, Coach Friend repeats himself about 100 times, and guys still do the same thing. Crap's flying everywhere. You kind of revert back to what you always do. So it's hard to break those habits. And flying is kind of a controlled environment. So